This is Canucks Only.
This is Canucks Only.
Here are your hosts, Shylo Smith and Rob Young.
Well, good evening, my friend Shylo. How are you?
I'm good, Rob. And a good evening to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. We can get into that in a minute, but welcome to Canucks Only. We are live on YouTube and live on X. Let me go and of Pettersson while we do the get the show going here. But we haven't recorded in a couple weeks. It was a part of an unplanned holiday. We're kind of lazy. Actually, I was going to say that we had planned a holiday of taking a break from the podcast. It's just the way it worked out, though. But it's been a couple weeks, and some things have happened. Carolina wins the Stanley Cup. What was your thoughts on them beating the Golden Knights? Because the playoffs was very interesting, and when they got down to the brass tacks of beating the Golden Knights, Carolina finally got it done.
Yeah, I think Carolina just looked like they weren't as. I mean, if you look at their path, the route they took to get there, they definitely had an easier route of it. And I think it the fatigue really showed in Vegas in the end there. They were looking slow at times, and to be honest, goaltending was a huge aspect. Like Anderson?
Yeah.
And he took him all the way through. He was like just stellar. And then when his agent passed away, when Claude Lemieux passed away, and like that game, he just was, with all due respect, really bad. And then the next game was same thing. And then in comes what's his name? Bussy.
Yeah.
And in comes Bussy, and just like is amazing. Like he just took over the game. So really, I think, other than the fatigue and whatnot, Bussy like stole that Olympics. He basically, Anderson got them there, and then he was the reason they stayed there. So because those two games, it was just like I'm watching. I'm like these are like football score. Well, not quite, but 6-4, 6. And I'm just like, what is going on?
Lead changes too, right? Like how many blown leads? I've never seen that before. You're up 2-0
on both sides.
Yeah, totally back and forth, crazy.
It was wild. It was bizarre, to be honest. Just how those first, I guess it was the first 3 games, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was the first 4 games. The way they had a graphic
4 games,
the lost leads and back and forth, and it was both, like you said, it was both teams. It was literally incredible. I felt it was like I was watching the best Stanley Cup final I've ever seen, and then someone on Sportsnet said that. He goes, "I think this is the greatest Stanley Cup final ever." Would you agree?
Oh yeah, no, it was exciting all over the place. Like it was great. And like even in the early games, like, I mean, just it was almost like everyone was trying to outscore their problems, and 5-4 or 3-4 or 5-4. Like it was and back and forth. Like it just it never stopped. The game never. It was great. It was in, to my memory right now. Yeah, I'd say it was the best playoff series final that I've seen in a long time. Yeah. And
sometimes they're blowouts, right? Sometimes it's a mismatch, right? You think back to, you'd have to go back to like maybe the LA New Jersey series. You'd have to think about some of the maybe not powerhouse teams, because when you got back to some of the days, with Edmonton, the final could have been a drag where it's just a blowout. The other team just has no chance. They have no air. They have no gas in the tank because the other team's just better. But they were so evenly matched that it was thoroughly enjoyable. What do you think the key difference was in that series between the two of them then?
Well, I definitely think that just the Hurricanes just seemed to have more energy. Now, like the Golden Knights were like, and that's not to take away. I mean, we're talking like a game of inches, really, because like almost every single one of these games was a 1-game goal. You know, the first 4 at least were all 1-game goals, right?
Yeah, and
then so now we're talking like that is some tight hockey.
Yeah.
And or I guess game 4 was like 5-3, but still, I think there's an open net in there, so that's why. But anyway, no, it was just like, it was so entertaining. It was so fast, and I think that really came down to the Golden Knights. I think they were a little bit more beat up and tired for the path that they took to get there than the Hurricanes were.
And Rod Brindamore said it, and it's actually one of the keys in, I've talked about it before, but in a breakdown video of like what it takes to build a Stanley Cup winner, and health is one of those factors, and Carolina was healthy, and all lines were, that's not actually 100% true. We could actually go into more detailed breakdown, because I thought that, Svechnikov and Aho were very quiet up until kind of key moments, which kind of reminded me of Bure back in the day. And then, maybe more Bure in 94, where you expected your big gun to do big things, and he was sporadic, right? He didn't score until Game 7 in Calgary? He had scored a goal.
Yeah, and then he won, and then he got that one, and then basically sparked him, right?
Right, totally. And so I don't know if there was injuries with Aho or Svechnikov, but they were really quiet, and which made Jarvis really quiet as well, because that was their top line. So it was their third line, which is another key in the Stanley Cup final, to push you over, as well as good goaltending, et cetera, et cetera. So health was a major tick in the box for Carolina, because they were healthy, and Vegas was not as healthy.
No, they weren't.
So that was the final. That was fun, and another Canucks-less playoffs. At least that is over now. And I can't believe, and as I've said this over the past few months, with the Canucks not being in the playoffs, what a great year to start a podcast. Let's talk about the Canucks on the statistically pretty much the worst season of all time. And the season is over, and now we have the off season. So, but I was going to go back to the part of what our extended break of taking the podcast, taking a little break, is that I fell into the what's the classic trash talk of watching old guys play hockey. And it's like, which one of these guys is going to have a heart attack? And lo and behold, it was me. I had a heart attack playing hockey a week ago Monday, and as you can see, I'm kind of fine. I didn't have the big chest opener. I had, for those on video, I have a small little mark on my wrist. Credit to the technology, credit to the science, and I had a jammer on the ice, and it was definitely not what I expected for envisioning and harassing all the old dudes I've played hockey with over the years of what a heart attack on the ice actually looked and felt like. So I was in hospital for 3 days, and then I was out. So
no, I'm glad you're out, and it is definitely a scary thing. But I mean, it was. When I was shocked when you told me, I was like what? And you called it a jammer, and I was like, that means a heart attack, right? Like, I actually Googled it. I was like, a jammer means heart attack, right? Like, on Google, and it's like, yes, that's slang for a heart attack. I was like, that's what he did say. Like, it was, I was in shock, man.
Yeah, totally. I used the same term to some of my junior high school buddies, and he didn't know either. So you weren't the only one. Some people knew, some people didn't. But it was kind of crazy. And so a big shout out to my teammates who were very attentive. The opposing team as well. They stopped the game for a few minutes because I was just in discomfort. I had pain in the middle of my chest. And it didn't start off that way. It was like my third shift, and then by my fifth shift, I pulled myself off because I couldn't. It wasn't resolving. But there was firefighters. We were playing. Some of the guys we were playing against were firefighters. They stopped the game and came over. But then in the hustle and bustle of that of me being attended to, because I was just sitting there trying to catch my breath on the end of the bench. Someone said there was a doctor on the next sheet over playing, and so they went and grabbed him. And so there was like this continual amount of attention. And thank you to that. I don't even know his name, but thank you to the doctor who helped me there. But they gave me 4 baby aspirins or regular aspirins or whatever. They had them, I think, with the timekeeper, which is like, isn't that indicative of old guys having jammers on the ice? That's actually with the first aid kit. And so he gave me that, checked me out with his protocol, and then he told someone, call 911, tell him it's urgent. And I was like, holy crap, this is really happening. This is real life here. And it just continued with firefighters showing up and taking me. I went to the end of the rink and sat there for a bit, and then waiting for ambulance, and then the second ambulance team with the heart equipment, the EKG, etc. And the first ambulance attendant said, he gave me the choice, like, maybe you go to this hospital, or maybe the third hospital, which I knew was the heart hospital. And after the second team did their tests, and says, he sat back down and says, you're going to the heart hospital, Royal Columbia. So thank you to Royal Columbian Hospital for taking good care of me. And an incredible happenstance and coincidence. Shout out to the doctor who performed the procedure on me, Dr. Chirani. Incredibly, when I didn't know this at the time, he is a blogger on the Canucks way, as a Canucks writer, as a fan, and as a blogger. And so a big shout out to Dr. Chirani. Jay the Heart Plumber is his handle on Twitter. So if you feel so inclined, I've tweeted it out and retweeted his article. He wrote a new article today, and his articles are great. They're spot on. I really enjoy his opinion, and it's funny because on the hospital floor, after I got up, and I felt incredible. The procedure from being finished, from me skating to the procedure, was about 3 hours. So I skated off. I still had half my equipment on when he did the procedure. This tiny little, 1.5 maybe 2 millimeter incision in my wrist. And then 40 minutes later, so that took about total time from me skating and off the table, about less than 3 hours. 40 minutes of procedure, and I felt right as rain. I felt really good, and must have been the painkillers, et cetera. But I guess I'm officially old.
Well, I knew that, but I'm just glad you're officially well.
That's because I'm older than you. That's why. So a big shout out to Dr. Chirani, shout out to all the caretakers, the first responders and firefighters, ambulance, and the dudes at the Langley Barn in BC. So thanks to everyone for all their care and attention, and onwards and upwards. So,
like I said, I'm just glad that you're doing well and you're recovering. So that's the most important thing.
Well, thank you. That makes 2 of us. All right. Well, it's been a busy week in the NHL. Where do you want to start?
Wow.
Let's start with the concept of a super team. So Brady Tkachuk tipping the iceberg on that. First, it started with Dylan Larkin wanting out. Then there were some rumors of Hellebuck wanting out. And then Brady Tkachuk actually gets out. And they're all targeted for the same destinations. It's the same 3 or 4 teams. It's Vegas, it's Florida. I think Minnesota is maybe in that conversation, even though that they made a hard bid to get Brady Tkachuk and did not, which is not surprising. But they made the equivalent, a very close offer to what Florida did, for what I read. But what's your thoughts on the NHL kind of following suit in the NBA? And my brother Derek called this out, last year, about how the NHL is following suit in creating these super teams, and also the concept of these shorter contracts to manage these super teams. Where is your head at with all this?
Oh, I mean, I've always liked the idea of the shorter contracts. And I mean, and the super teams it's the one thing about hockey. Like, so in basketball, you can build a super team and you're basically you're going to dominate like 98% of the games you play. In hockey, you can put together a super team and still not be successful. So it's you're playing a big risk. So I love the idea of the short contracts, because then that to me means that these players are going to be available and around, and maybe they're looking to move. Maybe there's something better out there. And I mean, if McDavid only does 2-year contracts for the rest of his career, I think that'd be amazing. Like that would be awesome. But so I got no problem with it. If you want to try and build a super team, let's do it. It's going to be interesting to see if it's successful. That's for me, that's going to be the real sort of interesting thing. But I mean, the amount of trades that are happening out there, and like it's a lot of the same teams that are doing the movement right now. Like, Chicago's doing a whole bunch, Buffalo's doing a bunch, the Capitals are doing a bunch. like, Bowen Byram, he's been traded. Like, what? For the first round pick that Chicago has. So, I mean, these guys are all making their moves, and I feel like the Canucks are missing out on it. But, Kairu's gone. It's, he's with the Capitals now. Like, the Capitals are just look to be like they're starting to, build up like you're talking about super teams, Alex Tuck. Like if they're sitting there going, hey, OV, you want to stick around for another 2 years? Look what we're doing. Hey, let's see if we can get one last cup with you. Or if he wants to get to 1,000 points, like you were pointing out earlier,
1,000 goals.
Or 1,000 goals. He's maybe 2 years away from it. Like, he's not doing it in 1 year, that's for sure. But in 2 years, he could do it, right? 240 goal seasons, and he breaks 1,000.
I can't say that Ovechkin is like the most fit physical specimen versus being one of the most strong physical specimens they've ever seen. But that will be interesting. And you're right. So maybe they are trying to convince him to stay, but really he's got his own. He can control his own destiny at that point. So
he can pretty much do whatever he wants to do, right? But so it's these. Talking about these super teams, you're seeing, like I said, these, not only the Floridas and whatnot, but, the Capitals are starting to do stuff. Chicago's making huge, they're making trades to get some talent, which is funny.
That Chicago trade is uproariously ridiculous. The backlash online is truly incredible. I mean, what did you think of the trade?
The Bowen Byram?
Yeah.
I think it's a great trade for Chicago. I think Buffalo, I mean, I don't know. Then, they get they get Chicago's first round this year. And I think Chicago has 3 picks in the first round. So it's not like they're really missing out. Do
you think that Byram's worth the 4th overall, especially in this draft?
He's 25. Like, I mean, I talk about it all the time. Like, he's got 2 years of development left. So Chicago's sitting there going, hey, if their D coach is going, I can make this kid a rock star in 2 years. Yeah. And we're going to have a window in 2 years.
Yeah.
And this is a key piece that we're missing. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to make him something that's going to help us get to the cup. If you maybe as he is right now, and especially playing for Buffalo, no. he has not impressed me in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
To be honest, he's sort of, second, third pairing in my mind, right? Like depending on what else you got on the team. But if you got a coach that can pull this kid and turn him around in 2 years, and he hits 27, and all of a sudden he's a superstar. Well, yeah, then I'd say maybe it is worth it, because when you take a look at what's available, there's a lot of good defensemen available in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
But all of them are like 5 years out, right?
Yep.
And so if you're thinking that you want to have a 2-year window, 3-year window, then Bowen Byram might be that ideal piece for you, right? So instead of picking up a D-man, which is what they would have done, picking up a D-man, and then having to like either wait for him to get through an NCAA, maybe he cooks for a season, and then they bring him in and they put him in development, and they're still 5 years out. So this might be a way that they're trying to speed up their window.
Yeah. So here's why they're getting roasted. So exactly what you said, with the number 4 pick, they could have picked the first best defenseman in this draft, would probably Chase Reed at that rate. But they also took on Greenway's money contract.
I know, it's $4 million.
And Byram is also going into a contract year. And do you know what the salary expectations? I know the number. Have you heard what the number is for Byram? What their camp is going to be asking for?
No, I'd put him at what,
$6 million right now.
Yeah,
he makes he makes 6 right now.
7.5.
Add a 5 to that.
No, he is not worth that.
They are. That's what Buffalo knew as well. So they knew he was going to be. His camp is asking for 12.
Wow.
That's a byproduct of. I mean, all the salaries are going up. So that's not a given. So if this is 3 or 4 years ago, he'd be looking for about $8 or $9 million, maybe closer to. I mean, he had a great playoffs. He was fantastic, like lights out. He was as advertised as 25-year-old Byram was drafted as an 18-year-old. Yep. Now, so that aside, but do you know what also is kind of on the negative for Chicago, but a huge positive for Buffalo is they just got out of massive salary cap pinch. They just signed Benson. They just lost Tuck. So they in essence, because they had all these people that needed to resign. And Chicago just helped them out royally. They could have actually put the screws to Buffalo a little bit more. Say, no, you're going to give us more. Like you want us to take off your hands, because they were a little behind the 8 ball on that. Anyways, like if you go into a little bit online, they are just getting eviscerated for the deal. It's crazy. So. It was a salary dump, right? But they did it. Buffalo, I mean, they did good. I mean, unbelievable, right? So.
Buffalo's been busy, man.
Canucks Army had a fantastic title on their live stream today, and it was the disaster class of the Chicago GM deal. It's for me, it was too much. Like the 4th overall for Byram is like, I think it's a little generous. I think it's a little bit too heavy price to pay. But yeah, Buffalo helped Chicago out, that's for sure. But the flip side was that I was listening to Kipper and Bowen, and they said that the internal pressure in Chicago to win right now, because Bedard's still on his entry level deal.
Yep.
He makes $900,000.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, they got a 2-year window that they're looking at, right?
And so that is part of their urgency. So that became an internal pressure for them to get Byram. I like the player. I don't like the deal. The deal is borderline insanity for what they got, and they took Greenway on at $4 million as well, right? So they offered them $16 million in salary relief with that deal. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. So, and Chicago, as someone was pointing out, they haven't finished any higher than 31st overall with Bedard in their lineup. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Byram will make them that much better. They're not guaranteed to be a playoff team at this point.
No, and like I said, he's still a couple of years away from even being in his prime as a D.
I think he's ready. I think he's quite confident. He's got lots of swagger that he's a number one guy, and so okay. The number will be around 11 or 12.
I think that's an overpay.
Well, you have to base it. So who's the highest paid in the league? Who's essentially the best player? This is the way I look at it. So McDavid should be the highest paid player, but he's not, right? So now it's Kaprizov at 17, and then it's Draisaitl, right, at 15. Mm-hmm. So that makes it even worse. Is that if Draisaitl getting 15 million and Byram gets 12, so he's like 80% the player that Draisaitl is? Not even close, right? So that just shows you Makar is going to make 15 or 16. Hughes is going to make 15 million, and I just saw news that he's committed to the Wild to sign a new contract.
Oh, yeah?
That came out 6 hours ago, and so the owner came out and said that. And anyways, that's how I base it. But at that rate, Byram is a massive overpay at even 10, right? So maybe 9, 10 for the new salary cap era. So if Tuck's getting 10 million, he signed as well, and Zach Benson, he got 7 years at 52 million. So what's that? $7.5 million.
I don't know. I can't. I'm not putting him with Rasmus Dahlin and
yeah,
Adam.
Right, exactly.
Even Adam Fox, I think, is a better D-man than Bowen Byram and Noah Dobson when he's not injured. Noah Dobson, McAvoy, hell, I might even put Bouchard on par with him.
Right.
Either one sort of being able to go above each other here and there, but at the same, so I mean, Bouchard's 10 million, right? I'm like. Yeah. Sure, Byron at 10 million, okay, but over that, I'm like, I don't know. You're not Ramses Dahlin. You're not Erik Karlsson. You're not even Zach Werenski.
So if you go from your A, if you go from your A plus tier to your A tier to your A minus tier, he's probably an A minus defenseman.
A minus. Yep.
Yeah, A minus and a B plus, right? So somewhere between an A minus and a B plus. That's two tiers down from the top, right? But now he's, if he makes 12 million, because right now Zach Werenski makes 9.5 million. He's only got 1 year left, expires 27, 28. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's going to get what Makar and Hughes make, right? So, and then Schaefer, Matthew Schaefer is immediately going to go to that level. Can you imagine going from entry to 17 million a year, 16 Schaefer? That's that's crazy. He won't even get a bridge deal.
I gotta look at what's Dobson's. I gotta look at Dobson's.
Dobson's 9, I believe.
Contract. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's 9.5.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and that was an overpay, right? So, I mean, a slight overpay only because they knew the cap was going up. I mean, that's when that news broke a year and a half ago, the writing was on the wall. And I think that it's still going to go up. We talked about the year 1, 2, and 3. I think we're going to year 1 of the boost. I think when that one expires, Bettman has been saying that the TV deal is even better, that it's going to go up again if for the salary cap ceiling. So anyways, the money is not really the issue. The number seems ludicrous, but it's really still about the percentage, right? If you're overpaying on the percentage, like we are on Pettersson at the moment, it's ridiculous. Yeah. And so him making 10, 11, 12 in 5 years, you're like, it's okay, because Hughes is making 17, Makar's making 18, McDavid's making 22, right? He's, all of a sudden you're half of what McDavid is. Like, okay, I can live with that for my number one defenseman. Anyways, it's the shock. It's the sticker. It's the sticker shock, right? Of us seeing the numbers, and the numbers are crazy.
And he would have to be like, their number one.
Yeah, there's no one else in Chicago right now that's. Yeah, there's no one there. Lev Shunov, who I think is a pretty highly touted rookie. He brought it, and everyone else is sort of defensive minded. Yeah.
Well, and they have nobody in. I mean, they got Ryan Ellis, who's still injured, I think.
Well, I think he's done. I think he's essentially retired, but they have to keep trading his contract around.
I think that's it for anyone that's like I think the rest of their D are like 25 or under. Like these guys aren't. They're so not. He is going to be the number one, the default guy. Yeah. Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting because that's a really, like I said, and that's when you're sitting there and you go, okay, we can draft, an awesome defenseman who might take 3 to 5 years to, get his stride. Like look at even Hughes, right? Hughes is, arguably the best defenseman in the NHL. And how long did it take for him to actually, like, he was 26 when he really hit his stride.
25, 26, but that was a little bit quick because he just kept evolving in front of our eyes.
Exactly, right? And we're talking about Hughes. And most of the other guys are going to take a little bit more time. So now you're going, okay, so I can pick up this guy and he's going to be real good, but we're going to wait 5 years. Or we get Bowen Byram, we work on him for 2 years, and maybe he's going to be our number one guy and take us somewhere, right? With the young core. So I don't know. I mean, I can't blame them for the thinking. If they're going to pay him $12 million, I don't know. I think that's still an overpay, but I don't blame the thinking.
Well, and he's not signed to it, right? That's another thing. They traded for him and he's unsigned. So they need to sign him to a contract. So they didn't give up the fourth. Yeah, Byram. He needs to sign the contract. So he's RFA. So
I thought, okay.
Because even like Werenski, he's 28. They're talking about you made me think about like Hughes' emergence, and Werenski quietly just kept doing the same thing, steady. He's not as flashy as Makar or Hughes are. I'm trying to identify what makes him special. And he's got great skating, but he's much more traditional than Makar or Hughes is. So it's a little harder to see.
He's reliable. You know what you're getting with him. He's very reliable.
Well, I think his skating is elite as well, but it's in a quieter category than Makar or Hughes for dynamic skating. Even Adam Fox, he had those tricky little quick feet and was able to maneuver around people. And it was much more obvious. I have his highlights up here right now, and just great position, good skating, great IQ, great shot. I mean, very sneaky, right? So, anyways, that's,
I like him.
Werenski. I was watching him play ball hockey with Spitting Chicklets, and that was Werenski. It's kind of like how Makar, there was so much fanfare with McKinnon in the beginning. And, he was getting 50 points. And like, the long-term pool, like, the guy who picked him, like, okay. Then he just explodes, right? Just boom, boom, boom. Gets his Hulk man strength and just that much faster and stronger than everyone. So,
now it's just amazing, right?
Yeah, totally. All right. Is anything else on the NHL news side that you want to talk about? Anything that's caught your eye for news? I mean, anything more on Florida?
Well, I mean, the lack of Canucks stuff, that's
all right.
Caught my eye.
Well, let's transition to that. So with all this action this week, I mean, we're the local media, all the platforms, all the shows are hammering it. So where are you? How are you feeling with the Canucks' lack of action so far?
I mean, I guess I was hoping they might try to do something, but I'm also kind of like, you know what? They're figuring it out. They are, this is basically a rookie front front end, right? Like these guys, they have not had this type of exposure and experience yet. So I can't blame them for not wanting to do anything while they're still, they might just still be figuring it all out. But I was also kind of like, man, it'd be nice if I would have been. I mean, I don't see them getting doing that sort of a trade with Chicago. But I mean, it would have been nice to pick up that draft pick too, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
You're onto something that I've been discussing in one of my Canuck chats. With all the actions, because San Jose had Chicago had 4. Now it's Buffalo, but San Jose has 2 and they have 9. Now the Canucks would have to trade up to try or trading down is now a little bit different. It's a little bit more difficult. Not everyone has the picks that you want. Because do you really want to pick at? Well, you'd have to trade up to San Jose, so they get 3. So they get 3. We would get 2, but we have to give them something, obviously. But we want that 9 as well, right? So just looking further down, and then they got the 27th, and just based on where the chips are going to fall. Between, McKenna probably still will go first. Then, what I've read today and saw today is that San Jose is probably picking Stenberg there. But if they don't, Stenberg's there at 3. So are you still, if Stenberg is at 3, are you team Malhotra or are you team Stenberg at that point?
That's definitely getting interesting. I still, in my mind, and the rebuild that I've done and that I've set up in my own head, I'm picking the best center at 3rd, and I'm putting them, because when you look at what's coming up in the in the next 2 years of drafts, there's a lot. This draft is heavy defense and heavy centers. Like that's what it has. And the next 2 drafts, there's like none, really.
Oh, really?
So I'm still picking up. Oh, I'll say none, but there's none of note, right? There's no one that I'm like, yeah, definitely need to pick that person up, right? There's still some D's. Dupoint's probably going to be the number 1 D. Is he going to be first? He's going to be in there. But I mean, and there's some centers, but a lot of them aren't. It's hard, and I know you say this all the time. It's hard to really judge where some of these boys are at when they transition into becoming men, and a lot of them are playing like WHL, OHL. Like these guys are playing in leagues that aren't really that challenging, I'm going to say, even though that's probably, I mean, it's challenging for some people, but what we expect out of them, that's not very challenging, right? And so, like when you're looking at, even when you look at the picks in 2 years, I think there's only like, out of the prospects that are sort of on the boards right now, if you will, I think there's like 3 or 4 defensemen, and that's it. Next year's there's a couple of defensemen, but nothing that's like amazing. Like I said, there's DePoint, who's probably the best one. I don't know, Wanda maybe, and then there's a couple of centers, but they're not. At this point, they're not sort of, and Malhotra was, a year and a bit, a year and a half ago, he also wasn't, on anyone's radar really. So it's hard to say, but I mean, they need a center, and in my mind, I'm going for the best center that I can keep in the NCAA, that I can let cook for a couple of seasons, that I can bring in on their, on their entry level, when we're closer to finishing the rebuild type thing. So, or, closer to getting the pieces we need. So, I mean, that's my mindset on it. I still would go for Malhotra. There's lots of wingers. There's lots of forwards in the next 2 drafts that can fill. He's good. Stenberg, he's good. He's not generational. And there's no one that's looking generational in the next 3 years.
I feel better about Malhotra if we do pick him, because on someone else's list that was not a Vancouver centric list, he was third. He got picked third in a mock draft. And so I just thought there was this love affair with Caleb because Manny was in and around us either, before and now after as head coach. And it's also that added wrinkle of complexity if we do get him anyways. But I think that's, I don't disagree. I've heard that, Craig Button says that in his mind, there's not much difference between Stenberg and Malhotra. And he said that for weeks now. And it's been, and because it was Vancouver media, I wasn't sure if he was sort of shining us on a little bit, but he's got him third. I'm looking at ESPN right now. They've got him like 8th. They've got Carson Carrolls at 3, then Vigo Bjork at 4, then Chase Reed at 5. So, but there is a scenario. Craig Button also said that if Toronto picks Stenberg, he wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
So if San Jose picks the defenseman, that means McKenna's there at 3.
Yeah.
Now, do you take McKenna over Malhotra?
No, because I'm still building my best centerman. I'm still hoping, I mean, to be honest, there's a few things. There is this.
I like when I stump you. You usually have an answer right away, and I'm kind of like I've thrown you a really good curve, maybe the best curveball of the whole year.
So yeah, I mean, so it's okay. He's American, and right now there is this. McKinnon's Canadian.
So of Reed. Reed is American.
Reed is American, and I don't know if I'd pick him as a Canadian thing, but anyway, but I don't know. That's a tough one, to be honest. I still feel like I would go for my center. I mean, centers are a lot harder to come by than a playmaking winger. I still think I would go for Malhotra. Oh, I hate saying it though, but I also, I mean, there's something about McKinnon's play where he just, I don't know. He's good, but he's also, he looks arrogant when he plays. And there's a little aspect of that arrogance that rubs me wrong when I'm watching him. And it could just because he's young, right? And he thinks, and he's like, I'm the best thing on this team. But it's, I don't know. I think for me, the most important thing right now is looking what's available in the draft, what's coming up in the next drafts, and what do we need? And we need a centerman. We need a good number one centerman. Not right now, but in our window. And there's really not a lot coming up in the drafts from the looks. Okay. So I'm like, I'm still grabbing them. Even though it makes me, I'm going to get beat up for that one, but yeah, I'm still grabbing. Number 3, I'm still grabbing my center.
Okay, there you go. Commit to the cause here, hey?
Yep.
So
yep.
I'm just seeing.
I've been saying it for quite a while. So
yeah. So if you take Malhotra, Rossi will be in 5 years. He'll be 29. That should be about the point where the rebuild should be completed, right? And you're competitive again. So, with McKenna,
should be in his third year.
Yeah. Well, McKenna, he's got a little of that swagger. You know, he did punch that guy out for insulting his mom. He's has an indigenous background. He's probably had faced a lot of adversity growing up. Yes, and he's incredibly skilled. There was the TSN blogger team. They did a challenge with him because he's only, how old is he? He's 18, and so a lot of these guys played junior. So they did a 1-on-1, then a 1-on-2, 1-on-3, 1-on-4, 1-on-5 against the goalie against McKenna. And if the defender got the puck off of him, then they could or you get kind of a point. But if he scored, then they got to add another defender, and he was just like dance. His stick handling is incredible. It was like Patrick Kane-esque. It was like lights up. So yeah, and I agree with you. I'm probably flipping to McKenna. If McKenna's there at 3, I think you almost. For me, I'd have no choice. Just if he's the number one all year long. They also think he's 2 years away from being a pro. Like he might play next year, but he's not going to contribute. They said Stenberg's the most NHL ready. That's why the Leafs might take him, is because he's the most NHL ready, and he might help Matthews the most. Yeah. So he's. Did you hear the comparison? I think we talked about a little bit that McKenna will be the 100-point player and a -15, and Stenberg will be the 80-point player and a +30. Yeah. That's the difference between the two of them. And Malhotra will be a little. Button said that he says that he would still take Malhotra over Stenberg if I was the Canucks. I'm like, whoa, okay, so that's good. But did you hear the part about Malhotra that when everyone went to the World Juniors, that's when he just emerged, like he just started destroying the league?
Yeah,
it was about that time. I found that kind of interesting, and I can't tell if that's good or bad, because if some of the best players aren't there, man, you're just like lighting it up. That's good. And he's also a super late bloomer, but also his super high athletic IQ coming from Malhotra side and the Steve Nash side is also very tantalizing, and also kind of a local boy, right? So,
Sorry, I just had to plug in my phone here.
Oh,
there you go.
Did you catch that there's a Nanaimo boy in the draft this year?
A Nanaimo boy?
He's from Langford.
No.
His name is Gio Pantelis. He's going to the draft. He's 18 years old, plays for the Brandon Wheat Kings, and he's a blue liner, and he's probably expected to go in the second round.
Huh.
That's kind of cool.
From the Victoria area. Good for him.
From Langford. Yeah. Anyways, a bit of an aside. Okay, so with all the action, so I think that I don't think it's official news, but it sounds like Hronek is not currently waiving his no-move clause to be tradable. Jake DeBrusk, apparently Pettersson's name has been bandied about the last couple of days, and Boeser. So we can expect those 3 veterans to possibly be moved, but no Hronek. How do you feel about Hronek not waiving his no move? Because that is part of what is happening, but also that they figure that he's going to be named captain.
I hope they don't name him captain. I'm okay with him not going yet. I think he's, it's funny. I say he's, a good vet, but I mean, he's still just a kid himself, really.
He's 28, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, if he wants to stick around and he wants to, put the beginning of his good seasons, helping the Canucks develop their youth, their Ds, then that's totally okay with me. I got no problems with that. I would offer it to him as well, saying, hey, look, if you want to move, then we can help you do it, because he is in that prime sort of, he is in that sort of prime age, and we still would have Marcus Pettersson around for some, leadership, vet leadership. So
yeah.
If he wants to stay, I'm okay with that, because I think he'd be good for the youth, and a lot of our other defensemen are Willand or BM, DPD. Those guys are all, even Mancini's sort of 24, I think he is.
Yeah.
The other guys are kind of like 20 to 24 basically. So having a little vet in there, Hronek and Pettersson, I'm okay with that. He wants to stick around, I will happily accept that.
Yeah, and I think that if he does stay, it's going to be less than 2 years. I think. Yeah. Now, you think if Byram got the 4th overall, what is Hronek worth as an established leader? What did he points to? He got good points last year. Right shot defenseman. And that's exactly what the league is clamoring for. He had 50 points, 49 points. In a tumultuous, he didn't, Quinn was here for part of the year, and then, so he's going to get a slightly bigger role for sure. And if he's going to set the tone, that's amazing, because he was my favorite Canuck last year. He was the uber professional. I mean, talk about put your work boots, your work hat, your work gloves on every night. He was 100% every game. There was no questioning Filip Hronek, his effort or output in anything he did. He was incredible. He was fantastic.
And he did talk to the media, which is something he's not known for doing, right? He did take that role on nicely. So,
especially going from not talking at all to being considered the captain, and you have to talk. So he did talk more. Yeah, it was very interesting. Hey, quickly going back to the draft, would you make a play for the Ruck twins? Apparently, there's at least 2 teams that are also eyeing them quite heavily to draft them together.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if I'm the Canucks, I think I'm losing audio here. No, I'm good. Okay.
If I'm the Canucks, my dog was barking.
Okay. No, if I'm the Canucks, probably not. Because it's not going to be an easy thing to actually do that. But who would have an easy time of doing it? St. Louis, 15 and 16. They could pick both of them up, 15 and 16, if they wanted to burn their first rounds. I don't think those kids are first round picks.
Yeah,
but that's the only. I mean, you could try and go for them. It's more of a fun thing than maybe in the third round.
Could do it with 24 and 33. They could do it. Now, would it be worth it or not? I guess Hughes depends. Apparently around 24, 25, there's some really, really, really good players still. So 22. Oh, we got 30. We got 33 and 41. That's about where they're ranked. I'm on ESPN for the rankings, and the older one is at 33, and the next one's at 43.
Yeah.
But you'd have to have. I mean, if someone drafts one of them and screws it up, it's all done. So
yeah.
But would you make the effort to try and talk to? Calgary, I think Calgary likes them. They got picks at 30 and 36. That could spoil it right there. Let's see. Yeah, that's about the range they would. They said because they're Western Canadian boys, Calgary was one of the teams that could do it. I'm trying to look for other picks close together. Yeah, we're second to fiddle on that one for sure. But they're ranked at 33 and 43. So Craig Button in his mock draft had the Canucks making moves to make sure that happened. So just curious on your thoughts.
I haven't really thought of them sort of. I mean, Liam Ruck is definitely the better of the brothers. Are you getting
104 points in 68 games?
Well, I mean, his brother had like 108 in 68 games. So, I mean, it's, you know, they're pretty, but, you know, again, it's WHL, which is sort of becoming a softer league. But anyway, I don't know. I'm looking, who is this? This guy has Liam Ruck at 10.
What?
Then Button has Liam Ruck at 10.
Is that his draft list or is that a mock draft?
No, this is his draft list. This is his draft list. The top 25 or whatever picks that he would go in order. So he's got McKinnon, Stenberg, Charles, Bourne. He has Malhotra 6.
Yeah.
He's got Liam Ruck 10th.
Whoa.
And
well, they'd have to pick it early then, because I don't think he. Let's see, on ESPN it's at 33 and 43, so that's outrageously different. So,
here, let's do consolidated rankings and see where they sit. All right. So Ruck is 28.
Oh, that's right. Wow. He has Marcus at 16 too. Holy cow. That's a real outlier there. I'd like to know of these 16? Guys who's got the best batting average of these. Because I was telling the story about Sam Constantino saying that Noah Dobson's going to be the best D drafted, and well, I think it was the Quinn Hughes year. Same year as Quinn Hughes, right? So, so he was drafted 12th. I'd have to find it, but okay. So well, that's interesting that the Twins are rated so high. Mm-hmm. What a marketing move! You know, the Twins getting drafted by Twins. It would be quite incredible. Anyways, if he's got them that high,
well, yeah, and so Liam is 28th in the consolidated rankings, and Marcus is 40th. So I mean, the Canucks, you know, they could do it.
Possible. Yes, they both 104 points, 108 points. Yeah. Right shooting right winger and a left shooting center, but they're not very big. They're only 6 foot.
Yeah.
So, that's crazy.
And again, the WHL is not the league.
So he's got Liam rated higher than Marcus, and Marcus had more points.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Well, the consolidated rankings have Liam. Liam's a better player than Marcus. Okay.
It's really interesting. Going back to the Canucks and position and whatnot, is there a deal that you would like to construct to try and to move down? Is there anything that makes sense? Because we talked about before, St. Louis, I don't think that's going to... So they're at 11. That's probably too high. Yeah. Although if you did the St. Louis deal, well, do you want the Ruck to be your first round draft picks? I don't think so. And I mean, that's no disrespect, but they're the top 8 in this draft. I think are all going to be pretty good, right?
Yep.
And there's no guarantee the Ruck twins would be. They might be, they may not be. But do you take that risk when they're so wildly ranked differently with all the scouts? But is there a deal that makes sense for you? Because dropping down a position or two, and I guess they'd have to have it in place depending on who San Jose takes. Because if Chase Reed is there at 3, do you make a deal with the Rangers? Because they want a defenseman. But apparently they were in on Byram. And San Jose was also in on Byram, which is it kind of belies in the face that they've got pick number 2 and are probably picking Stenberg.
Oh.
But
I don't know. I mean, it all depends on who goes before too, right? Because Buffalo might not be picking the defense, and so they might, like, are they going to trade for something when they're like, well, why would we trade you down when it's like our guy's probably going to be waiting for us when we get there. So it's hard to say. It all depends. I think Reed could end up dropping to fifth or being fifth, right? Easily. Yep. So why would they give up something to get the guy that they probably will get anyway? I don't know. Yeah. I don't see it. I think, unfortunately, a lot like you're saying, like the top 8 picks, I think all of them are sitting there going, hey, we're maybe not top 6, I'd say, are all sitting there going, you know what? We're good where we're at. Like there's whoever is there at 6 is going to be a good pick for us, right? It's when you start getting out of that range, when you start getting 10 or 11 where St. Louis is, right, that those teams might be like, you know what, to get into this money draw, we'll give you a bit more, right? There's more value in it. But when it's like the Rangers, I don't know, I just don't see them, the value doesn't really seem to be worth moving. Like, what are they gonna what are we going to be asking for, right? A 4th? All right, we'll trade you up, but we want like a 3rd round as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
They traded for Alex Tuck was a 3rd round, so that might be about the going rate for it. But you're right. I don't know. I haven't heard, but with the Buffalo trade, I haven't heard enough of what they want and need. They lost Tuck. So they need a big center to replace him. So that's Malhotra territory. Calgary just got a defenseman. The Rangers need to replace. They need to supplement Fox because I think he's still pretty injured. And chatter today on one of the shows is that he's also looking around, maybe wanting out because the window for them is too far away for him now. Seattle's, I think, a bit of a non-entity that way. Yeah, don't know. I don't know if there's anything that makes sense. I thought maybe the San Jose angle, but the Chicago angle would have been interesting, but that's gone now. So, yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think there's anything that really makes sense because I think everything's too far. St. Louis has got 11, 15, and 16. There's a lot of players in there, but you're not getting your marquee player, then your marquee draft picked.
No, you're just picking up bodies that are going to be, either pieces that you're using to move around next year. But again, this draft is the best out of the next 3 years. This is the best draft. So if anything, you want to stay in the picks. Like if I'm Canucks, I'm just not moving. I'm not going to move anywhere for this draft. It doesn't make sense. There's too much good talent to be in that top 6 that you want to be there. The next 2 years, it's, you're only going to score if you're in the top 3 or 4, right?
Yeah.
And if you're outside of that, then you're getting, a guy that's, whatever, right? So this is the more powerful draft. Their 3rd, and like you said, like McKinnon could come to them in 3rd, and then I would not blame them for picking them. I have a plan. I'm sticking to my plan type thing, right? I'm just stubborn like that. But you wouldn't.
Well, you scouted him at 9, so you've been on the Caleb train since he was 9th in the rankings, and he's. That's what I had a bit of a problem with it when he was a little higher in the pecking order, but I feel better in what I've seen actually literally in the last day about him at 3. that. And then, Button, he's a great talker, and I just, because he's talking to the Vancouver shows, and I wasn't fully convinced he wasn't just like selling some good sound bites there, right? But I saw on someone else's list, like Chicago, I think it was Chicago, and I think it was Toronto. I think it was Toronto. They said, the big center at 3. And it's okay, I feel better about that. Because if he's ranked 9th and 10th, would you still take him over, say, Bjork? Because Bjork's floating in and around 5.
Yeah, I mean, well, if he's sitting at 10, there would most likely be a reason for it, and he might not be that center, right, that we're looking for. So there's other centers. Like this draft, I said, is there's talent in it, right? Yeah. And I'm like, well, maybe I would be looking at like a Bjork, right, who's a center winger, right, or even like Lawrence, right? I mean, if Malhotra's down at 10, right, Lawrence, that means Lawrence is ahead of him. So,
well, I see Lawrence on this list at 17. The same list that on ESPN, he got Lawrence at 17, but
I'm in the consolidated one, so it basically crams them all together and has them there, right? So, and this one, Manny's 4th, Reed's up ahead of him, and that I can believe. Like, I have no problem with that either. I think if you are in the need of a defenseman like Reed, and I would put Reed ahead of Malhotra as well. But I don't think we don't need defensemen right now. We need a centerman, and someone that we can spend a couple of years developing. So,
well, look who won the Conn Smythe this year. The big, tall, strong center, right?
Yeah, the 40-year-old center. And do you see how far down like Verhoff has dropped?
I'm not looking at your list. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Okay, I got him on the consolidated list, and I'm surprised how far he's dropped.
At 7th?
Yeah. There was about 3 months ago, he was up above Carls. He was up above Reed. He was like being talked, in the 3 to 5 range, right?
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Interesting.
And he's been slowly sort of dropping out.
The combine had some results there. Who knows?
Yep, that could be it.
And that Smith's guys, he was at around 12 before.
Yeah,
Ryan
he's
Lynn,
been going up.
He was at 17. Ryan Lynn from Vancouver.
Yep. So, like I said, like this draft has got there's a lot in it, right? And if you're in the top 8, you're getting a good player no matter what. Yeah.
So, and I hope the Canucks can try to acquire another pick or two. That would be nice. I mean, that's what they need is the picks, but. I mean, Boeser, DeBrusk for anything, Boeser for anything, Pettersson for anything, and let's call it a day, right? Get what you get, and then even would you trade those guys for next year's draft? Would you trade for picks for next year? I mean, you'd hope to get something for this year, but
that would depend on who we're trading with, right? Mm-hmm. If we're trading with like, I don't know, Vegas or Florida or Carolina or something like that, I'd be like, no, because it's not that great. It's not that great of a draft year, and so you're getting rid of someone, and you're going to get someone back who between 25th and 30th, 32nd pick, and it gets weak really really quick after like the top 10. In the next 2 years of drafts. So, I mean, I would say something, if they were going to do it that way, then I would say give them, I want your first this year, your first next year, your first in 3 years. Mm-hmm. All right. If you're going to do it that way, right? Like, I mean, if we're talking like, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 pick, 30, 31, 32, like those teams in that window, then I'm like, okay, well, we're giving you our, like Pettersson. I want 3 years of your number one. unconditional.
Pettersson would get 3 first-round picks?
I think depends on the team. Depends on the team.
One. Yeah.
It depends on the team. I mean, name me a team that does well, doesn't care about spending money, and has taken like reclaimed projects and turned them into amazing players.
Vegas.
Yep. That's what I was thinking of. So if he went to Vegas, if they could pull that off somehow, and he went to Vegas, and they could turn around and go and put him with Mitch Marner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
if you put him on the third line with actually with the Barbashev, who Marner said has the best release he's ever played with.
Yeah.
And then Dorofeev, I think was the player. Anyways, yeah, if you bury him, Carolina's got room. They can bury him on the second, third line. They can hide him. Kotkaniemi was a scratch in Carolina.
Yeah.
So there's deals out there to be had, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, if Tulsky gets them in Carolina, you'll know like, that's a bad deal for the Canucks because that guy is smart. Did you see that tweet that Chicago, when they were making their GM decision with Kyle Davidson there, that Eric Tulsky was the finalist?
No.
Yeah. So we're down to our last 2 candidates, and everyone's like, oops. the cup winning GM with Carolina.
Wow.
I was going to ask you something. I think there's Pettersson. There's still possibility. Montreal really likes him still. They can hide him a little bit. Carolina. I mean, Vegas is super interesting. I hadn't thought about that specifically. So whoever's got cap room, really. We can eat some of it, but I don't really want to. But as long as some draft picks coming by. Well, here's one thing I wanted to ask you. So it's come out that the Canucks are on a tight budget, and they are not going to take on dead money. So they're not going to weaponize the cap. They're not going to do any favors to any teams and not just spend that money as dead money to collect draft picks. How do you feel about that?
I feel like ownership isn't embracing the rebuild. I think well, and I mean, part of me goes, you know what? I can understand it, because when you look at what they've, who they still owe money to for the next year, the next 2 years, right? Like coaches and training staff and players. And so, I mean, they might be going, hey, you guys, like, we burnt a lot of money just to get here, right? So maybe that's where they're like, show me some results, and once these contracts disappear, then you're going to get a little bit more money out of, for front end stuff or whatever you need. But and I'm sure they're also looking for a practice facility, so they're probably sitting there going, look, like, where do you want the money, right?
So
I don't know.
There's cold hard dollars, right? But then if you can accelerate your rebuild by spending cold hard dollars by taking on bad contracts, like, you still have to get to the floor, right? So what are we at for the cap right now?
Right now?
So how much room do we have? We have 21 million.
21 million. Yep, 22 almost.
So how many spots do we need to fill? So 26, 27. We got, so Kane's gone, Blugers hasn't re-signed, Forbert. We don't need to sign very much. And we have 21 million in cap space. So you're not going to take 8 million of that and burn a contract or two and get a first round pick, second round pick, third round pick, whatever you can get. Like, I think I think you're right. I think it's a poor edict to come from wherever it's coming from, and it has to be ownership, to not want to spend even a percentage of that, even if you want to spend a third of that. Because right now, so if they are, the floor is $76 million and we're at 82. So we're $6 million above the floor.
Yep.
And they don't want to spend more. Like, that's the ceiling is 104. We're $20 million under the ceiling. We could take on 3 dead contracts like the Ryan Ellis, right? And get whatever picks you get. I think it's extremely short-sighted, and I think it's extremely shackling of.
No, like I said, they're just not embracing the rebuild. Is really what I think it is.
Well, on top of paying Johnson the minimum salary possible, I'm sure the Twins.
Thank you for listening to Canucks Only.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe.
Twins are making significantly more than that.
Yeah.
We're a very cap-friendly team. Pettersson is the boat anchor on that. We should change his little icon to boat anchor. Boeser at 7.25 and Jake at 5. And Jake is almost guaranteed going, right? And so they still have to fill the roster spots. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's funny you say boat anchor because the no movement clause on icon on Puckpedia looks like an anchor.
That's right. I was kind of hovering over that and conveniently saw that about the same time. And if Jake's $5 million comes out, that's $27 million we have free. Actually, call it 21.993. It's crazy. Jake at 5.5.
And then you remember next year, Ekman Larsson's drops down to 2.6 million.
Oh, that's right. With all the penalties, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We're paying 4.7 in penalties.
Yeah. So and so that goes down to we save another 2.6 million.
I hope it's not true.
Myers' contract is up, so there's another 1.5 million.
Yeah.
So there's that's four more million right there.
It's crazy. Rossi is a RFA in 2 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
So this year and next year he's on a contract. Hedl needs an extension, possibly. He's UFA. Would you extend? That was in Dr. Sharani, the Heart Plumbers article today. That he thought that we should offer an extension to Hedl. What do you think about that?
I mean, I like Hedl, but he's a liability. He's when he's doing his thing, he's really good,
pretty darn good.
But one more hit to the head, man. I to be honest, I would rather it was not my problem.
Right.
I would rather it wasn't my decision to make.
And you've been on the teams where maybe you've got one of those players that. Availability wise isn't always there, and when he comes, he makes a big difference. And when he's not there, you're like, we got to play around that. You have a different game plan.
Yeah,
and that's really, and it's really. I think we have enough of it, to be honest with Demko already.
Yep.
An inconsistent PD. It's just one more thing that we don't need, and I think that you kind of super lowball him and maybe move him. Because obviously he doesn't want to retire. He still wants to play. So
but
he's
I'm not
at 4.4.
Yeah, offer him 4. If he wants to stay on at 4, or
4 in a salary cap world. I mean,
4 for 3.
Yep.
And then
I would maybe I still like the Thomas Drance 2-year theory. Overpay and then offer to you shop him around and you retain half when you move him. So, speaking of which, I wonder what.
But if they're not allowed to be money, they're not going to be allowed to overpay people.
So McDavid technically. Let's see here. Yeah, there's no. Ovi is a UFA. Lane. John Carlson, Trouba, Kevin Hayes, Kopitar, Anders Lee, Jaden Schwartz, Bjorkstrand. There's no one of note. But taking a bad contract, I mean, that's good business. It's absolutely good business. And I just don't, and you still need bodies, right? You still need players.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't, that coming out as news is, I mean, is it unsurprising? Is it a shock that that's coming out of the offices at Rogers Arena? Not to me, really. Let's see here. So we've got 13 forwards under contract. We have 6D. Are they allowed to carry, is it 19? Limits. NHL roster limits. 23 active players on its start. Must carry a minimum of 20 players. So for game days, the roster is reduced to dress exactly 20 players, so 18 plus 2 goalies, with a 23-man active limit. So we have 19 signed forwards and 2 goalies. That's 21. We've got room for 2 more players. Mm-hmm. We've got room for 2 players, and we have $21 million.
There you go. Well, let's
so it's just
Petrov's a UFA. Let's pick up Petrov.
Well, some of Drance's ideas that Michael McCarron and some other people they've re-signed Darren Radish, so that's kind of gone out the window. But I think that's smart. I think it's especially if you're going to move it to Brusque. You need players back. You need bodies. You need people who can play.
We also need to sign Mueller, Lektermaki, Ogren, and Ratty.
Yeah, when are they up?
Next year.
Next year. Okay, let's
fair. So
they're all eligible for extensions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. So Gallagher's got 1 more year on his contract. I thought he was UFA. So Brendan Gallagher, Montreal. There was a very. That's weird because the one end of the year reporter asking questions in the room, round of questions, and someone said that Gallagher was not coming back, and one of the players was very upset. And I thought he was a UFA, but he has got 1 more year. But yeah, you're right. So let's see here. If they need it, let's see. Let's just take an eyeball of. So he'll forget about it. O'Connor. Maximum $4 million, so that's $2 million, $1.5 million. Where is Ogrim? RFA. Okay, so Mueller, I don't know. He's not gonna make much. Lekramaki, he'll probably make like 3.
Yeah, maybe
if he's lucky. Ogrim. Now Ogrim's probably going to be verging into the 4 to 6 territory. Yep. A nice big bump of a raise.
Raddy's probably going to stay around the $1 million, maybe.
He'll get 2.5.
You think so?
Yeah, he'll get 2.5. Only because there's so much cap room, right? So what's that? An extra $7 million, like total? I mean, he's 8. So there's still a ton of room. Anyway,
and you signed Bugler?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's depends if you need the body. If he can make the jump in camp, then we'll see. If not, he's going back to Appy, right? So,
and I'll let Evander walk.
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't move him.
I know, right?
Cannot believe they didn't move him or Bluger. Just free draft pick sitting right there. Give him a playoff run. And that's squarely on Alvin, and maybe blame Rutherford for that. But holy cow. That would have been a nice parting gift.
Yeah.
Well, that's about what I wanted to talk about this week. I mean, a lot has happened, and nothing for us has happened. But it looks like Quinn Hughes is staying in Minnesota to not join Florida, which is very interesting. I thought maybe he would join down there. Zach Benson re-signed.
He hasn't signed anything yet, though.
No, it's just when the owner comes out and says that.
No, but he hasn't signed anything yet, so.
It's true. That's true.
You never know. I think that'd be hilarious if the owner comes out, says that, and then 2 days from now he's like, and here's signed with Vegas.
Yeah, totally.
But
that'd be something.
Yep. Anyway,
so the Cairo deal was that they got the number 16 in the. So they how many picks did they have before? They had
Ooh.
Did they have the 3? Did they have 4 in the first round now?
Ooh.
St. Louis.
Yeah, they got
11?
4.
15, so they bumped up to
Then
1.
29.
Extra one.
And they got 29.
Well, talk about a rebuild. And they lost their second round pick to Columbus. They went in trade, looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then they have very little picks until third round. Well, they almost got 3 in a row in the third round.
Yeah, they got 73, 75, 76.
Crazy. Anyways.
Well, maybe the Rucks will be around for them.
Wow.
I doubt
Anyways. Yeah.
But yeah.
Anything else you want
They got 4 picks. That's why I was saying, like, early days, I would have been trying to make moves to get 3 of their picks.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll give you Pettersson and Boeser, and we're going to help you rebuild right now.
Right, totally.
But
15 and 16.
I think it's too late now. Yeah, I know. They're just outside that sort of window, right?
If they had 1 pick in the top 8,
then it would be. I'd be like all over that. Yeah, go for it.
But they're kind of a terrible team, and they also got Parayko that they might still move, and Robert Thomas is apparently off the trade block, which is interesting.
Oh,
yeah. Anyways, anything else you want to chitter chatter about?
No, I think that's it. I gotta start packing up. I'm leaving. I'm up in Fort St. John, and I'm leaving Fort St. John tomorrow morning. So,
well, we got the podcast. Thanks for your dedication to the craft.
Oh yeah,
in your hotel room, and it's been too long, and now I can not feel as guilty as I rush to edit this now. So,
all right. Well, you take it easy. Don't go overexerting yourself. No. And I will see you when I am back. We can.
Sounds good, my friend.
Hopefully there'll be some more stories, and we can do another one.
Well, I thought about maybe doing the draft live, but I think it's midday when you're working. So
yeah.
So.
Oh, what day is it?
I think it's the 26th, isn't it? The draft.
26. Yeah. Oh no, I'm on a plane. I'll be in Toronto.
Okay, so you can definitely live stream the draft then.
Yeah. No, I'm at my cousin's wedding.
Just use the airplane Wi-Fi.
That'll be okay. All right,
my friend. Have yourself a good evening, and we'll talk to you in the next
soon.
one. All right.
Betcha, bud.
Thank you for watching Canucks Only.
Canucks Only. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe.